Content warning. We have fun and laugh a lot during the process of making this podcast, but some of the movies we watch have adult situations. That means we may use language that isn't suitable for children, as well as topics that could be triggering for some. We want you to enjoy our podcast, and that means taking care of yourself and feeling safe. Thanks for listening.
I'm in the corner, losing my religion. Directed by Tar Simpson. Hello.
Hi. Oh, are we
it's on.
recording?
We're going.
Oh, I didn't know because you didn't check the levels, so I wasn't sure.
I didn't tell you. Surprise. I wanted to get you singing.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
Gotcha. Candid recorder.
Oops.
Hi, welcome to the thing that we do.
podcast.
My name's Keith,
I'm Z.
and here we are, yet again, talking about some movies.
We're talking about a fucking movie or two that we watched in the last week. Yikes.
In this case, Joe Versus the Volcano.
Yeah, I've had a lot of coffee, so I'm sorry. I feel like that.
I've had only coffee today. It's about 1 p.m. and we've been up
1
for
p.m.
16
on a
hours.
Saturday afternoon, and I've had 4 cups of coffee.
Okay, I don't think I've told this story on the pod. You've heard me. I've told it to you. The first time my friend Alex and I went to see Judas Priest live.
Oh, wow.
It was on a weekday.
Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God.
And it was at an amphitheater that was attached to an Indian casino, I believe. And you could tell this is part of Halford's just usual banter, as he would, just reference the day of the week and the location. But because we were not near any major cities, and it was a weekday, he was just like, so it's Wednesday night in Washington State. So vague. And so we would reference that all the time.
So it's Saturday morning. I mean afternoon. In this Illinois state.
It was still light when they took the stage. It was the middle of summer, so
No,
in the Northwest it stays light till like 10 p.m. in the summer, so.
Oh, God.
But
it does here too. I swear to God,
Yeah,
it'll be like 9 p.m. and I'm like, this, make it stop.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like it. As referenced in another podcast, may or may not air before this one, because I don't know how they go. I don't deal well with sunlight and sunshine and all the things that normal people are like, this makes me happy. I'm like, no. Anyway. We're talking about Joe Versus the Volcano, which is a film from 1990.
This is my first viewing.
I
had sort of intentionally avoided it for a long time.
This was really interesting. I had watched it as a kid, and I was like, I don't really remember anything. I remembered kind of the volcano part at the end, but
watch this. I'm gonna go stand up style.
Shit.
Taking the mic off the stand, ladies and gentlemen. Where you from?
God. I like the. I like the.
Smooth.
Ooh, smooth operator.
Now I'm free to.
I think I asked
put my
you
legs
about
up
doing that, and you were like, the first time when you were like having a lot of trouble figuring out.
It's
how
gonna
to
be
fit, and I was
stupid
like, why
noisy,
don't you
probably.
not have? Why don't you not have? And you were like, no. Yeah. So, seriously. No, I remembered like very, very, very few things about it.
You saw it as a kid?
Yeah, I saw it as a kid. I saw it like when it first came out. And I remember being like very confused by it. I had forgotten until Meg Ryan appears that she plays more than one character. I was like, oh, that's right.
Which I didn't know going in somehow. that had been kept
yeah.
from me.
Yeah.
So spoilers.
Again, if you've never seen Joe versus the Volcano and you don't want us to spoil it for you, which is what this podcast is about, if this is your first time listening, we basically watch a film and then we kind of spend a lot of time either avoiding talking about it or completely
Talking shit on it.
talking shit on it while either way we spoil the entire thing. So if you're like, "Oh, I want to first of all, we don't there's some critical analysis just from us being critical while we analyze the film that we watch, but basically we just talk. It's just an excuse for people to listen to us banter with each other or things. If you want an actual in-depth movie review, maybe don't watch our podcast.
Don't watch our podcast. Either way, you're not going to get much from it if that's what you're doing.
I had a lot of trouble viewing your podcast.
So 1990, Tom Hanks.
Yeah. But this movie, the opening scene, and there's greyhounds, right? No, it's not greyhounds.
It's Great Danes.
Great Danes. God, what the hell?
I think.
What the heck? Great Danes. I would very, very much remember that. And it was it's a clear map. I didn't know what the Great
That shot
Dane,
when he comes out of the doctor.
when he gets diagnosed with a terminal brain cloud, and he comes out of the doctor's office and he sees a Great Dane. And he hugs it and then he tries to hug the person. So that's so relatable. That scene, I was like, oh god, that is 100% how I would respond to bad news. I would see a dog and I would be like, please let me hug your dog, and then I'd be like, can I hug you too? I need to hug someone.
Also, it's visually just a great.
It's a great
shot.
Honestly, the movie, I was like, visually, this movie's fucking rad.
It's great.
This is very stylized, and I'm all about that. I'm all about 80s and any part of the 80s, all of the 80s, the stylization of that. Oh, so I love it. Whether it makes sense or not, love it. Some 90s, early 90s, in the, I like it as well, but I think
it's a thing that kind of I feel like
as
people quit doing because
Yeah.
what Tim Burton got so big
or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the stylization just doesn't. And even when they do it now, it's usually the stylization happens in post when they edit the color of the film.
Yeah, right.
And it's just okay, well, great. The whole thing is green. Cool. The whole thing is blue. Cool. This isn't really stylization in this. There's not stylized. It's one of the reasons why I liked the remake of Anna Karenina with
I didn't watch that.
With what's her name? Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
I
they
loved
change the sets and stuff, right?
Oh my god, yeah, they do it.
I mean, you watch them change.
You they both have actual sets, and then they do it like you're watching a play, and they break them down in when the scene changes. Oh god, I loved it so much. I literally watched it. I mean, I worked at the movie theater it was playing at the time, but I literally watched it multiple times. I made my
didn't that play while we were working together?
No.
Or shortly after?
I don't think so.
I remember the poster being up.
Oh, maybe it was, yeah. But we weren't together at the time. But I made my partner at the time. I made them come watch it. On Christmas.
I bet that went over well.
They were like, it's fine. I mean, But I was like, I love this movie.
It's not directed by David Lynch.
But yeah, I was like, I made them come on Christmas to watch it.
Were you working already?
I was working on Christmas. So yeah. But I love that movie. But I feel like that doesn't usually happen. I mean, it'll happen, but it's I don't know. There's some weird thing that stopped in the 90s. Obviously movies. Yeah.
I blame Tim Burton. Well, his fame.
Yeah. I mean, and things.
Well, and remember fucking what's the one with Ewan McGregor? Is that
which one?
It's either Pleasantville or Big Fish.
Oh, Big Fish. It's Big Fish.
I've never seen Pleasantville. And I always forget. Big Fish is dumb.
Oh, I don't like Big Fish at all.
But
it was
very stylized.
It it's also like not like also a thing happened with Tim Burton movies where his stylization changed drastically.
Yeah.
So he um like it went from like really creative sets to like just a lot of CG, which I just don't.
Yeah,
I
right.
find it so like I understand like production, like cost and stuff like that. I understand like things being less like permissions being different or like like studios not wanting to like give you money to do actual sets and being like no you can just do it afterward. Well, I get that, but like I
It
have
was all downhill
so
after Moulin Rouge for
I
movie
have
sets.
you've never seen it.
I've seen Moulin Rouge.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you've seen it. I thought you haven't.
I have.
I love that movie though. I love Moulin Rouge and I love Romeo and Juliet. Baz Luhrmann.
Oh, I haven't said that. The one with Claire Danes?
I love that movie because it's so because it is so heavily stylized and it's so like just the weird stuff that they do in it.
I'm going to get up and walk around now that I'm free to do so. You ever notice?
no one's gonna get the joke because no one can see you standing up with a microphone. But anyway,
That's why I described doing it.
well I know, but then you whatever. I'm just criticizing you so people know we're a couple.
Why do you always do this?
Because I'm a celebrity Jebbet.
Yes.
um,
Now I can stare out the window free.
it's hard. I like how you were like, I don't want us to be sitting on the bed opposite each other because then we won't be looking at each other and it won't feel good. And you're any opportunity
I'm
you
literally
have to
turning my
look
back to you.
away from me is like, please God, just let me get a window to look out of.
I just need to change the scenery.
I love you too.
Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan. Oh, I wanted to. What's this director's name? It's John Patrick Shanley, who's only directed like 4 things or something, but he's more of a writer.
Oh yeah, because he wrote Moonstruck.
He wrote Moonstruck. And Doubt, which is based on a play. I don't know if he wrote the. I don't think he wrote the play.
Doubt.
He just wrote.
Oh, the movie. Interesting. Is that the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And Streep. I want
has
to rewatch that.
that has a much different tone than.
Yes, it does. But it's very stylized.
It's true. It is.
He directed that one too.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Oh, Amy Adams. I didn't remember.
He
also wrote the play.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Viola Davis also in that movie.
And Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
He also wrote Congo,
Oh my God.
starring Tim Curry.
Oh, it's starring Tim Curry.
He's credited. He's like top billed as Herkimer Homoika.
Oh, I love the name Herkimer. I fucking love that name. About Joe versus the Volcano, though. Let's go back.
Hold
to
on,
that
we're
one.
talking about Congo now. Yeah, go on. Meg Ryan, who knew? Not me.
I don't know why the way you did that. Hold on, we're talking about Congo now. It reminded me of this thing. Home movies. Oh God, what's the kid? What's his name in home movies? I'm not good.
That character's name is Jason.
Jason. Okay, Jason from home movies. I don't know why. It doesn't sound like him at all. Just the way. I don't know why. It just reminded me. Oh God.
We recently rewatched home movies.
For the first time I watched. I mean, I've seen like only
your first total watch
yeah,
through.
I'd never seen anything. I actually don't think that
I don't know if I've ever made it through the whole thing before.
I don't think that I'd ever seen past
Season 1?
No, past Paula Poundstone.
Which is only like the first 4 episodes.
Yeah,
turns
no,
out.
I think it's like 6 episodes or 5 or 6 episodes this season. I don't think I'd ever seen any past that. And I did, because you were like, oh yeah, she's not in after the first season. Then suddenly like her voice changed and I was like, I've never seen this before and I never registered that there's a change. And it was like very like, It felt very drastic.
It is
It
very
was
drastic.
very, even though it sounds like they're trying to do like a really similar tone, and I think they succeed in getting someone that sounds similar. Um,
I think
not
the
exact.
rhythm is
Yeah,
similar.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that person does a good job of that,
But
but
yeah, I was like, oh, what? So I'd only seen like
and
so.
it takes a minute for them to
Yeah,
settle into it.
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like.
But yeah. Anyway, home movies is hilarious. Um, I I like the way that movies, all movies collectively. No, I find it interesting because Joe versus Joe versus what? Joe versus the volcano starts out.
So the premise is really
Yeah, it's great. It's
fantastical.
pretty. Yeah, I'm. I didn't realize where the mic was, and I was like, ah, it scared me. It's pretty.
It involves some very what should I say? Racism. I
Oh
what do you call
yeah.
this? What do you call this? I don't know.
It's pretty. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, like it's 1990s, so I mean, they do the whole like, Ozzie Davis, um, is in it playing, a therapist, basically.
Right.
They do that trope. Just
A
like,
la
just
while you were sleeping.
yeah. Yeah. It's literally like, the black person as
Right.
as a conscience for whoever,
Right.
which is,
Well,
but
except
but
he
they
basically just helps him shop.
yeah, but he's like
I
telling,
can't tell you who to be, how to be
he's
yourself.
like telling him, yeah, anyway, whatever.
Why are you stopping the car?
They just hired me to drive the car, sir. I'm not here to tell you who you are.
I didn't ask you to tell me who I am.
You're hinting around about clothes. That happens to be a very important topic to me, sir. Clothes. Mr.
Banks?
Banks. Clothes makes the man. I believe that. You say to me you want to go shopping, want to buy clothes, but you don't know what kind. You leave that hanging in the air like I'm going to fill in the blanks. Now, that to me is like asking me who you are, and I don't know who you are. I don't want to know. It's taken me all my life to find out who I am, and I am tired now. You hear what I'm saying?
Ozzie
But
Davis
yeah, a
always
lot of,
great though.
oh yeah, amazing. Like, love that he's in it, but the end is with the
What pony?
Waponi, or oh god, I hate that shit so much. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
So
And I was
there's a
thinking of,
tiny island
yeah,
with some that a very unique culture that it's supposed to be funny. This to me feels like a Mel Brooks kind of bit they do
yeah.
with the Waponi, where it's like what is it? A Spanish galleon has crashed back in the day.
Oh, uh-huh. With Druid and
Jews.
Jews.
So their culture, and they love orange soda.
Yes. They drink orange soda tall boys, basically.
Yeah, and wear the cans.
Yeah, oh my god.
And Nathan Lane is one of them, and their chief is a Vagoda,
Oh my god.
who I know and love from as Fish from Barney Miller, and the spinoff called Fish.
um, you turn your microphone back on, right?
Microphone is on.
Okay, good. I was like, I love how you're gonna be
Right to jail.
you're gonna be like, oh, this is really loud, and like I did all this stuff.
So liberating.
Your attitude towards everything has changed since
Yes.
just taking the mic off the stand.
Somehow I never thought of it. I didn't think it was possible.
I
I believe you. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying in my mind, I'm like, there's no way this could possibly work. Now I'm up here doing a tight
type
50
45
on
to
Joe
75
versus the
minutes.
Volcano.
I do want to say, it starts out, so yeah, the premise is basically that like Tom Hanks is in a dead end job. He doesn't feel well. He goes to the doctor. The doctor says you have a terminal.
It's not
It's
a
not
tumor.
it's not a tumor, but it's a terminal brain cloud. It's a brain cloud. They're like, everyone's like, "What's a brain cloud?" And he's like, a brain cloud. Then he freaks out because he's gonna die in 4 weeks.
4 months, I thought.
Oh no, I thought it was 4 weeks. He said you're gonna feel fine for 4 weeks, and he's like, but I don't feel fine, which is why I went to the doctor, and he's like, yeah, you're just a hypochondriac.
That's the irony.
So, so
it's
he
like
gets approached.
Last Holiday. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I did. So he gets approached by a rich person who wants him to throw himself into a volcano to appease the gods of this small island people. Like
because
basically
he trades with them.
Yeah, and they won't or he wants to trade with them, but they won't trade with him anymore. Yeah, I think, or something like that.
Whatever.
Like they don't have anything. Yeah. Which is like super racist. We don't need that. Honestly, we don't. Like, wouldn't it? I thought I didn't remember any of that stuff, probably because I was like 5 when I saw it. And I thought he was just gonna jump into the volcano because he was gonna die, and he just wanted to do something like crazy.
Oh yeah.
And like it kept escalating, and he was like, "I know, I'm gonna jump in a volcano."
See.
You know, he just kept doing more and more things, and then he was like, "I'm gonna jump in a
quickly
volcano."
becomes a thrill junkie.
Yeah. That's how I remembered it. Not at all. But I'm like, that would make more sense than being like, oh, what we need. And it doesn't make any sense. In the end, he jumps into the volcano, and the volcano spits him out, and then the entire island.
Him and Meg, both.
What? Him
and Meg, both.
Oh, I thought you. I did not know what words you said. They jump into the volcano, then immediately get spit out of the volcano.
And then the entire island sinks. Is consumed by the volcano
immediately, and
presumably all of the.
Here's the thing, though: the volcano does not actually erupt. The whole island just sinks.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Which, again, not how volcanoes work.
Well,
jury's
out.
Anyway.
But before we started recording, I had to look up. It does hearken to. There's some similarities in the ending to Krakatoa, east of Java, from 1968.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty wild disaster flick from the late 60s.
Yeah.
And referenced in a B-52 song.
Oh.
That's how I came to learn of it. What happened?
Oh, I just think your movements are funny. I'm sorry.
Well, if you quit looking at your big-time casino ad with John Goodman as a finger.
If you must know, I am editing a photo of Michael Scott saying, "I am Beyonce always," to say, "I am Keanu always," in response to something that our good friend Karthik posted on your Facebook wall.
Uh-oh.
So that's what I'm doing. So it was really important, and I couldn't wait.
I apologize. My apologies. But the movie, as we described, is highly stylized and really gorgeous. The opening that goes on forever is super.
Mm-hmm.
There's a march. You see Tom Hanks and.
Well, I like that the company parking lot is basically just mud. They all just
exactly
park it.
For the duration of a cover of 16 tons, which is like twice as long as the Tennessee Ernie Ford version. We see Tom Hanks shuffling between his car and the building and stepping in mud over and over again.
Like repeatedly.
Puddles.
Yeah. But, like, I think I was going to say this before you had to pee-pee. The creative way that people show, like, dead-end jobs or, like, hating I love seeing that.
I know.
You know?
Good.
It's so, and I felt like it was actually like way more accurate and as stylized and ridiculous and over the top that it was like, this is so accurate. Yeah. Like there's this like once Tom Hanks like finally gets there, Dan Hedaya or Hedaya? I don't know.
No idea.
Whatever.
I've been saying Hedaya in my head.
Dan Hedaya. He's on the phone and he just keeps over and over.
Three things that he repeats.
Keeps saying he can get the job, or like he can get the job, I think, but can he do the job? Yes. And he just keeps saying he can get the job, but can he do the job? And he keeps saying that over and over. And at first I was like, okay, I get the joke. But then he just keeps going, and I was like, oh my god, yeah, no, I've been in that work meeting before. I've been Dan Hedaya. in a work meeting
Right.
before where I'm like, okay, but here's the question
No, I'm
that I
not
need
arguing
answered.
that part.
Great. Okay, but I have this question. No one's answered it. Is anyone going to stop? No. Okay. Okay, but I have this question that I need to be answered because it's a huge question and it's really important. Okay, no one's going to answer me. Okay, I'm going to ask it again.
Can you do the job?
Yeah. Like I've literally been in that meeting where like everyone's I once had a 6-month period and it was at least 6 months where I raised the same question in a meeting. Like we had a meeting about this one thing that was supposed to be happening or like this one thing that was going wrong weekly or maybe every 2 weeks for about 6 months, and every time I would raise the same question. And at about 6 months in, someone said, "Oh my God, I never thought of that." And I was like, "I've asked this question."
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
I was like, "I've asked this question literally every single time we've had a meeting for the last 6 months." And we have a lot of meetings about this.
It would be like if the guy from Jaws is just scratching the
Yes, like-
the chalkboard the
chalkboard.
entire time for like 6 months straight, and nobody's.
And I was like, I'm an annoying person. I'm loud. I'm annoying.
No, that was 100% a comment on the tonality of your voice.
Like I'm saying, like I'm very aware that people are annoyed by me, and people like have to like people don't like how loud I can get, how like shrill I am, like, and I'm like, I know that you've heard me in the last 6 months. You've even responded to these questions that I've had. I haven't asked these questions.
Did I get you?
No. It was your surprise after you coughed, like you forgot to put your hand over your mouth, you coughed, and then you were like, anyway, so yeah, that was like super relatable, and Dan Hedaya is just great. He's so ridiculous. He's just ridiculous in every role he's ever in. If
he's great.
he makes sense, like it doesn't. It like everything is just like ridiculous. Do you remember you probably don't remember this, in Alien Resurrection, where he gets offed by one of the xenomorphs?
Yeah.
And he just it like punches a hole in the back of his head, and then he just like reaches back and just like pulls out like his like, I don't know,
a piece of brain or something?
Yeah, and it's just like and it's just ridiculous, like we're just like looking at his own, like, I don't know, something. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a specific thing. It's like
his pituitary gland or something?
something like that. And he's just like, oh, and then, and like,
oh, was it the hypothalamus?
It actually might be. Throwback to The Relic, which is the fucking worst movie that I've seen in a couple of weeks. But we managed to
take that, quicksand.
Okay, but here's the thing. The Relic was horrible, but it made me so mad that I think that's probably like the longest singular pod we might ever have had about one singular movie, because I was just like, I hate this movie and I need to just keep talking about how much I hate it anyway. But also I like the thing this is like there's something about Joe Versus the Volcano that was like it really hit me, and way more than I thought it was. I was like I really, it really resonated with me in a lot of ways, and like hit me like in a weird like emotional way.
Really?
I did not expect it to, and I was like, oh wow. Like when he gets diagnosed, like it's this whole trope, right, where people get diagnosed with like, you're gonna die, and then they go and they quit their jobs, and then they start like spending exorbitant amounts
and really
of money.
living life for the first time.
Finally live life. But I'm like, okay, as someone, like this didn't happen to me, obviously, I'm still alive, but I did work with someone who got a terminal diagnosis.
Oh Jesus!
And they died, and then they were just replaced at work, and that's all that happened. And they just like, that's it. And I was like literally there. They were like someone they were hard of hearing, so they yelled a lot on the phone, and our cubicles were like very close to each other, so I got to hear them on the phone. Oh, no. At work receive their terminal diagnosis, which I was like, okay, that's a lot.
That should be. You should put that in the film.
I know. That was like a lot. And then they just like I don't know, like a month or two later, they were just, yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad. I know. It was so bad. I'm so sorry. It was awful. And it was just like, it was really sad. And all that happened was that they were like she loves memes, so if y'all can just gather memes together for us to
No.
send to her. I swear to God, they sent out an email asking people to come up with memes to send to her. I know. I was like, that's not. I was like, this feels like. And people were like, she loved you all so much, and I was like, no, she didn't. I was like, I had
Stop
actual conversations with her, and she's like, I hate this job. I hate everyone that works here. She thought I was cool because I was like did fun stuff with my hair, and she would always like talk to me about it. But yeah, I was like, no. It was so depressing. So like I was watching that and I was like, oh. And it's like I kept thinking about her and like how like she like, I'm like that's not. I'm like I get the idea of like if you don't have family, like it's mostly about people that don't have family. But I'm like, yeah, most people would be like, oh, I'm gonna die. I probably wanna hang out with the fam for a little while.
Spend more time with my cats.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
The whole, I was going to say, I really enjoyed first of all, whatever little few impressions I had of this movie, / expectations, were immediately upset because I didn't realize it was so, just the tone was totally different than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I remember.
But I was going to say the whole opening from the very first shot to when he quits is really great. I love the whole.
Oh God, when he quits, the valve where he's like, and he's like, and they're
the
like,
main
what are you
drain?
doing? The main drain, and it's like, do not touch, and then he just starts.
He's like, what are you doing?
And they're like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to touch that. And he's like,
I'm opening or closing.
He's like, I'm opening or closing this. And then like nothing happens, and he's like, man, I've been wondering for so many years what this did, and nothing happened. One of the trivia in the IMDb was that he's
opening it.
No, he closed it. He closed the valve, which I'm like, okay, whatever, but yeah. Also,
lefty loosey righty tighty.
Like this is one of those things where I'm like, I don't know why my parents were like, yeah, it's chill for you to watch this because it's literally just like a really weird. I mean, like nothing actually inappropriate, I don't think happens, but it's also like not made like it's. I don't want to say it's an intellectual movie because it's not quite how I mean it, but like it's very stylized. It's very like, the jokes aren't necessarily like, I don't know, for kids. Like kids aren't not because they're like adult, but they're like subtle and
they're not raunchy, but it's like heavy themes.
Yeah. And as a kid, this is one of those movies where I can't remember what else it was we watched. Sorry, I had to pull a hair out of my mouth.
Gross.
I probably got it from when I was kissing you. God, what was it? We did another podcast on something that I watched as a kid that I was like, I did not get this, but I don't remember what have we watched? What have we potted on?
What was it?
But yeah, I didn't get this as a kid. Like I did not get it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Clifford. That's what it was. When I didn't understand the joke at all. I was like, he's clearly.
I forgot that you had seen that already.
Yeah. As a kid, I was like, I don't understand why it's supposed to be funny that he's a grown up.
Well, I think a lot of people would agree with you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like as a grown up, I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. This is ridiculous but hilarious.
And that's the point.
Yeah, but like I didn't get. So Meg Ryan's in this movie.
Spoiler.
Playing 3 separate characters, and as a kid, I was like, I like the Dee Dee.
She's playing Melanie Griffith in Working Girl. And then she's playing Jennifer Tilly in Life, and then she's playing Meg Ryan. Thank you for setting that up. I wanted to make that joke.
So, like, she plays his coworker when he's at his dead-end job that he hates. And then she plays another character who she plays the daughter of the guy that's paying him to jump into a volcano.
Lloyd Bridges, who
has this amazing, like he's smoking a pipe and it's like a fucking cherub. I was my God, I want that fucking pipe so bad.
He's basically Willy Wonka.
Right. And then she also plays her half sister. Like that character's half sister. Which I'm like, as a kid, I was like, that makes sense. sort of. I mean, I was like, it's weird that they didn't.
Twin half sisters
Yeah.
totally makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm like, it makes sense that like they're playing sister. That it's the same person playing sisters. But I was like, how? As a kid, I was like, I don't get it. Like, is the other person her sister too? Like, who is it?
Right.
You know, I was just like not understanding.
That's
that
a
they were
little
just-
annoying,
yeah.
right? I feel.
Also, I like the fact at the end where he's like, I feel like I've I've known you, or like I feel like I've met you before.
Yeah, he says this to Dee Dee when he's quitting.
No.
Yeah,
He
it's
says
a bookend. He
does?
says,
Oh, I don't remember that.
"The first time I saw you, did I ever tell you the first time I saw you? I feel like I'd met you before."
I thought he said that at the end.
He does it both
Oh,
times.
I
He does
didn't
it
catch
to
it the first
Dee Dee
time.
and to actual Meg Ryan, whatever that character's name
Actual
is.
Meg Ryan.
Patricia?
Something like that. No, I thought Patricia. Oh, maybe it's.
Angelica's the
Oh yeah, maybe
middle one.
Patricia.
No, Angelica. Yeah, Patricia.
Which one is which?
Patricia's the blonde that
Okay.
he marries.
Okay.
Before jumping in the volcano.
Um.
Angelica is the middle one, the best one.
Yeah, she also does this like amazing voice. Like I feel like Meg Ryan does a voice for Dee Dee as well, but it's more like I don't know, she's like really innocent and kind of like, oh. But for
Yeah, it's childish, but also
yeah,
she's got like a some kind of New
yeah,
York
yeah,
accent.
yeah.
That's why I said Melanie Griffith and Working Girl.
Well, I thought you also said that because she works in an office, and also because it was funny.
Thank you.
But which one's the middle one again? Oh,
Angelica.
Angelica. She does this amazing weird voice for Angelica, and she's like, "Father says you can't trust anything that I have to say. You know, I'm stupid and I
It's
don't
so
know
good.
anything."
I loved it so much.
And she's like, "I'm a celebrity gibbet," and like for whatever reason, like you know, she's like, "I told you I was a celebrity gibbet," you know, celebrity gibbet. It's a fun voice to do. Keith is always wanting me to do, because I do an impression of Jennifer Tilly, and Keith is like,
I love it.
Keith wants me to like just basically live my life as the Jennifer
Yes.
Tilly impression, and it's so
I
difficult.
think you can make a living.
It's so difficult vocally, like it's like the amount of like, basically my throat would be
Yeah.
bleeding at the end of.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But also, it's actually really hard to maintain. And I don't mean that in the sense of like because it hurts, because literally like it's like I lose
wanna
the
laugh?
accent. No, I lose it immediately. Like I can do like 2 or 3 words and then it just like turns into something else. It's really hard to keep it going. One of these days, maybe we'll have to watch Bound or something.
I was going to say, one of these days, we'll do an episode that's just us reading the screenplay in character.
I love yeah. Oh God. Anyway, so
I've
yeah,
never seen it.
we should watch it. It's weird. I'd love to watch it out, honestly, again.
Didn't they show it at Ebert Fest a few years ago?
I think so.
Because
I mean,
wasn't
like
she in town?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, like the Wachowski sisters are pretty, famous, so I get why they would show that. And it's like such a fucking
It's definitely a cult,
yeah. It was like such a
cult lesbian following.
Well, what do you call it? Not like groundbreaking, but it was like one of those things. It like made waves back in the day. Like people were like, "Ooh," it was like scandalous,
It was
you know.
spicy.
Like, "Oh," and then I like watched it like 6 or 7 years ago, and I was like, okay. Also, I like honestly, if I did not know the Wachowskis directed it, I would not guess that they had.
I had forgotten that little detail.
Yeah, and it doesn't. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess the amount of like vinyl in it would suggest that they were involved, but yeah. Other than that, it's not. It doesn't really read like a weirdo.
No.
Their stuff is very weird. I think their stuff is really weird.
Yeah.
Personally, just like their choices are weird for what they
Well,
choose
yes.
choose to direct.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm looking at my notes. Carol Kane is in this for like 5 seconds.
2 seconds.
I don't even think she speaks. Does she?
Yeah, she's
like,
like, there you
like,
go, or something.
That's it.
Amanda
Yeah,
Plummer
you know.
too. They sort of make a big deal of, not a big deal, but they like say the character's name
Oh my God,
many
they're like
times.
Dagmar, and then she's just like
Barely in it.
She's just. I think her line is right over there, or something like that.
We're in for a big blow.
It's a little weird today, huh?
There's a typhoon warning. Good morning, Mr. Banks.
Morning, Dagmar.
Looks like we're in for a blow.
And then she like dies. Like they imply that she's fucking dead, because
Right.
Meg
the ship
Ryan
goes down.
Yeah, the ship goes down, and Meg Ryan's like, "What happened to Dagmar and the
And the
others?"
And
and
the
he's like,
rest
"Well, the ship went down."
here on Gilligan's Island.
But yeah, Amanda Plummer.
Can get it.
Yeah, she's one that like. Yeah, she like freaked my shit when I was younger. I didn't realize she was in this, and I was like, "God, she's been in." Because I saw this when it came out, so I was like 5 or 6
Oh,
when I
wow.
saw this. Because like in the way back days, like things that came out for rental, like now it's like things are available like 6 months, like 2 to 6 months after they were in theaters, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But like in the 90s, sometimes things would rotate, like they would be in the theater for a lot longer.
Oh, yeah.
And it would take almost a year for it to go on video.
Right.
So like I'm not sure what the age was that I
Sure.
actually saw it. But yeah, like I was like, oh my God, I had no idea that I was aware. Like I had seen Amanda Plummer in something like that young. I had no idea. Because she was in, and the fact that she was in something like that, she's always just in weird shit. She's just in weird shit.
Yeah.
Or just like, I mean, I guess it makes sense because she's in this for like 5 minutes.
I always, well, not always, until
Literally
rather
always.
recently, she's like similar to Crispin Glover to me. And kind of like I mean, it's not really a fair comparison, but like
Not
as
at
far as their like the weird characters that they do.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is one of those things where I'm like, I don't know if it's like an actual typecast thing, or if it's like, no, I have to be in a weirdo role, which I respect. That decision. Like Crispin Glover is literally only ever agrees to do something. I mean, not literally, but like most of the time, just agrees to do something so he has money to finance his own weirdo films.
Right.
So, which I kind of respect. I'm like, oh,
It was
that's
more
cool.
about their like screen presence, I guess.
Yeah.
And again, that was an early impression.
Yeah, but I was like the fact that I was very young when I saw this, and so much of it, like the scene with the fucking shark when they're fishing on the
Oh my
boat,
God.
and then like Tom Hanks, like his fishing, what is it? Fishing line? Rod? Okay. I don't know. I don't know what fishing stuff is called.
Well, there's a rod, there's a reel, there's
Right.
a lure, probably.
Other things. So he like gets stuck on something, and like the whole like everyone from the boat's like trying to help him, and when he reels it in, it's a fucking hammerhead shark.
It's such a hokey bit.
And he's just like, ah, and this is
But
like,
it's also very clearly a like a puppet.
oh yeah.
Like it's not at all realistic.
And like Keith and I
purpose.
went off on this tangent basically, and we were like, if Michael Keaton were to be in this movie, we're not obsessed, don't worry. And we're like, if Michael Keaton was in this movie, the next scene would have just been the shark driving the boat with like like Michael Keaton like giving it a beer or whatever and being like, hey,
with his arm around it.
Like, I fully believe. I mean, no grounds whatsoever for this. I don't even think Michael Keaton. I mean, the IMDb trivia didn't say the
Michael Keaton was originally considered.
the number of people that were considered for the role other than Tom Hanks. But like, I fully believe if he was offered the role of this, that's how that scene would have gone.
That's how it would have gone.
You can't convince me otherwise. The shark would have been on the boat, driving the boat with Michael Keaton's arm
with the
around
captain's
it.
hat on.
100%. That's how it would have gone.
I tried to illustrate this, and then I realized it's very difficult to do a realistic portraiture of actual people.
Yeah, but yours, I feel like
my hammerhead shark, however, spot on.
It looked great. Yeah, it looked exactly the same as the one in the movie. And
thank you.
But like, Keith drew, but like I saw Keith's drawing and I was like, oh, I know that I can tell that's Michael Keaton. You know, like I know that you're
It's
like
nice
whatever.
of you to lie, but
I'm not lying. I literally said, oh wow, when I saw it, and you were like, what? And I was like, that's Michael Keaton, right? And you were like, where? And I was like, the drawing you
Where?
did. um,
Michael
but then
Keaton's here.
I tried to come in. Then I tried to draw Michael Keaton, and he just looks like the like queer coded villain, lesbian aunt kind of thing. Like the like he just it's not good. I did a worse job than Keith did.
I disagree
It's
wholeheartedly,
not good. It's so hard to do his pouty mouth and his
Mhm.
severely arched eyebrows. So yeah, he's not in Joe versus the Volcano. I want to say this about IMDb trivia. There's not a lot on Joe versus the Volcano. I was kind of disappointed. Like I was expecting there to be like some stupid,
Yeah, I agree.
ridiculous, trivia. There's not, which I'm like, okay. But usually on IMDb trivia, it'll tell you how many people were offered the role or considered for the role of whatever the fuck.
And it's every
And it's like
every prominent
actor.
actor of the day. It doesn't matter what the role
And there's
is.
always like several.
Remember Home Alone? I feel like Home Alone was the worst because it was like
No, what was it we watched the other night? Maybe
Robert
it
De
was
Niro was offered the role that Joe Pesci took. Sir Ian McKellen. Fucking Ben Kingsley. Richard Dawson. I don't know why I threw him.
like I don't know what like it's wild like that the trivia will always just like and again it's IMDb trivia and there seems to be like no regulation whatsoever on what's allowed. I just got this really weird visceral feeling like because I'm staring at you while I'm saying this and and I was like I'm looking at you and people are gonna hear this podcast and they're not gonna know I'm looking right at you and it was a very weird out of body experience that I had.
That meme that's like, I suddenly became aware of that
Yes.
people could have formed an opinion about me.
Literally. Yeah,
Someone
puking.
puking.
Yes. But this movie has a lot of Great Danes in it, which is wild. There's like at least three. Oh yeah, and the ending, like literally it ends.
Did you see that apparently a lot of the actual shopping scenes were done on Rodeo
Oh
Drive?
yeah, they're like you can tell by the big giant Gucci sign.
The telltale Gucci signs of Rodeo Drive.
I know, and I'm like, why would I know that?
Yeah.
I love when people are like, it's obvious because of this thing that you can only know if you've been there. I'm like,
but
okay,
also, how about the sign that says Hamakashlema? Was that on Rodeo Drive? No, this movie does a lot of highly stylized, a lot of structural things, like the lightning bolt motif.
Yeah, because it's the road to like the path
Sure,
from
beef
the path
from the parking lot to the factory
parking lot
or
to
whatever.
the factory where he works at. It's a very specific shape. But the logo for the company has the same shape.
It's the same shape.
And then, like, he has a crack in his wall that has the same shape. The lightning that hits the boat is the same shape. I guess I didn't catch this.
The
path
volcano.
The volcano is the same shape. Like, there's all kinds of, which I'm like, oh, that's so fucking cool. Like, I love shit like that.
Right.
And then
it doesn't really mean anything.
I was kind of disappointed when
much.
he's like, I've taken a crooked path my whole life. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's it.
I love that one of his first lines is, what is it? It's like, when Dee Dee walks in and he's messing with his shoe and he's like, yeah, my soul is broken.
Oh shit! I missed that. See, this is why I like watching movies with you because you catch shit like that I'm like, what?
And you notice when everyone's wearing a wig, which I don't. We've got all the bases covered.
I'm so good at that.
Oh, also, there's so many songs in this movie.
It's true. It got to like
16 tons. Oh, he says, I'm losing my soul. That's what he says.
okay.
16 tons. We got Old Man River, performed by Ray Charles. Mas Que Nada by Sergio Mendes in Brazil 66, I believe. Blue Moon by Elvis. And then a bunch of like other shit.
His
But like,
I wrote down because he goes and buys luggage that's like
Yeah.
the size of a boat, and to
that
take on a
doesn't
boat.
come back at all.
But I was like, and he's like, oh, I'm going to be traveling on plane and by boat, and so they are like, here, buy this huge giant luggage that you can fit like 5 people in. And I was like, remember when you could travel with luggage?
No.
Right. Like you used to be able to like, but now there's so many like if you have like you
Or
have
you
to
gotta
pay,
for it. Yeah,
or like it has to be like under. Okay.
We'll be right back.
I like how you were like,
Okay, we're gonna take a break real quick. Be right back. Hey, Smiley. Hey, Smiley. Avocados.
bananas and avocados.
Welcome back
Oh hi.
to my bladder.
Hmm. Hmm.
What else you gotta
God,
say?
I was gonna say something. I was like, I feel like I was saying something.
Oh, also when he's packing his desk up, he's got Robinson Crusoe,
yeah,
Romeo
I'm
and
not-
Juliet, and the Odyssey.
and that's like those are the themes of the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I'm never gonna like catch shit like that because.
Oh, I always love it because I'm always like, they're doing this on purpose. anytime there's a classroom scene and the teacher's talking about some shit,
See, I'm not smart enough to
That-
figure that out.
or anytime there's a movie on TV,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I mean, no, that's fine. But see, I always think about that stuff, and I'm always like, were the creators
Basement
like
door, cellar door. That's what it is.
it is?
Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm always like,
Is there a horse going down the street? Your facial expression, like you're crying.
Well.
That's you.
So I always think about like the creators of whatever the fuck, the movie or the thing you're watching that
Or
has like
life
hints.
on Earth.
No, like the people that like make something, they have like these subtle hints in it.
Yeah.
As a creator myself, as a content creator myself,
Mhm.
I'm like, what do they expect from people? Do they actually expect that people like, especially when it's like subtle stuff? I'm like, do you expect people will catch it? Are you hoping people are gonna watch it like 12 times and be like, oh, I finally understand this? Or is it a thing where you're like, I'm so smart, no one's gonna figure this out?
Yeah, you
'Cause
could.
I always-
you could be resentful about it, or you could just you could just have fun with it. You could just lighten up, and
Should I smile more?
yeah, wouldn't hurt. Never killed anybody.
Actually, there's this one story I have of someone I know.
Thank you. I worked with this person who smiled and to death.
Literally killed them. I mean, that tracks for me. I'm that person that's like,
Well, yeah.
you're like, true, yeah. Where like someone's like, oh, this thing, and I'm like, oh, that reminds me of this really traumatic thing that happened to me one time. Anyway, back to this comedy thing that we were talking about. Sorry, everyone. I have trauma and mental illness. I don't always know how to do it right. But yeah, the way it ends, though.
You mean with genocide?
Yeah, like the whole island, like the ending was so confusing. They jump into the volcano,
Volcano spits them out.
and then they are floating around. Like the volcano spits them out. They land in the water, and then they're like, "We're gonna die because no one's around, and we don't have a boat. We don't have anything." And
I'm okay.
Keith got a very pained look on his face suddenly, and I got worried. So they're like, we're in the middle of this, and then the island just goes under, and the only thing left is their luggage that pops up because it can survive anything.
Is luggage.
Yeah. No, I thought they both had luggage because he said he wanted 2, but
No,
4.
he got 4.
He did? Oh my god. Okay. I'm clearly again. Thank God you were there because I'm like, oh, she had luggage too.
Thank God. Otherwise, this episode would be.
Well, it would just be me talking, and everyone would be like, "What the fuck? Why do we give a shit about this guy?" And yeah, so then they climb on the luggage that they magically strap together. I don't know how that happened, but whatever. They don't show it. E.L. James, where you at to explain this? and um, and then they're just like floating on there, and Meg Ryan was like, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna die, and she's like, why? And he's like, but I never got a second opinion, and she's like, why didn't you get a second opinion on a terminal diagnosis? And he's like, I don't know, I didn't think of it at the time. And he was like, the doctor so and so, and she was like, wait, that's my dad's doctor. She was like, okay, this is all a thing to just make you think that you were gonna die, and so that you would be willing to jump in a volcano. And he's like, oh, and then they're like, okay, well, also they get married right before they jump in the volcano, which is not legally binding, just FYI. No offense. No offense. I mean, anyway.
Suck it, Waponi law.
Right. I mean, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Anyway. So.
Just saying, one of you ends up in the hospital. The other one is not going to have
right. Yeah.
power of attorney.
So. Yeah, they're just like floating around, and they're like,
The end.
whatever we do, we'll be together with this luggage. And then they're just floating, and then the movie ends. And I was like, wait, what? That's it? I did not remember it ending that way. I remember being like, I don't get it, but I did not remember that, like, flat of an ending. Like that's the thing that sucks. Like, it's actually really good up until they get to the island.
Yeah.
I like the movie a lot up until it gets to the island. And
agree.
then it's just, like, overt racism, genocide.
Well, once the boat sinks, it's kind of downhill from there.
Although I do like when he sees the moon and, like, all that stuff, you know.
I would if they didn't bring that back just as a way to, like, he was like, when you were unconscious, I saw the moon. And
I mean,
okay,
he's saying what happened. He's just recounting the movie in case someone was in the bathroom when it happened. Remember movie theaters and going to see movies? Barely.
I remember how
hardly
a
ever
year
did
ago
it.
we went and saw The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I know. Ugh.
It's the last movie we saw in theaters.
Wait, was it The Rise of Skywalker, or was it the last Skywalker? Wait.
Oh, whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's called like The Last Skywalker.
Airbender. Skywalker.
God.
Airbender.
I just remember that when Han Solo magically appears as Ghost Daddy Solo, someone audibly in the theater said, Jesus Christ! Which I, like, laughed so hard at, I pretty much missed the rest of the day. We were, like, cackling to the point of, like, having to cover our mouths and, like, tears were coming out. That's my favorite thing about movie theater. I don't really enjoy. I hate going to a movie theater where, like, people are being like, okay, I've been in
Careful.
I've been in a movie theater.
Easy.
I've had
I'm about to walk out.
I've had movie
And
theater
leave my coat behind.
experiences where
Like I did it Back to the Future.
oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't there for that. I wasn't working. No, I wasn't. No. Because one, RW texted me and said,
Oh.
Keithy's here. And I was like, aw.
Thanks, RW.
I know. I adored you so much that people would literally text me to let me know when they'd see
Sightings.
Yeah. They'd be like, I saw Keithy when I'd be like, oh my God. And they would call you like Keithy too, because that's what I would call you. I know. And then I was like, no, I'm in a relationship with someone. I have no feelings for Keithy.
Turns out. No one cares.
No one. That wasn't proven incorrect until I was no longer in a relationship and we got together organically.
Fast forward.
Fast forward to me being single and being like, want to hang out, and then us getting together.
Sorry,
so scandalous.
Sorry, it isn't as romantic as us having cheated on our former partners.
I don't think I ever could cheat, honestly.
We'll see.
The other day where I was like in a bad place and you said thanks for not sabotaging our relationship, and I said I wouldn't know how, and you said glad I could give you the idea. Which probably just sounds really horrible. It was really funny to me at the time when
We're totally
I was like crying,
healthy.
and yeah, it sounds like we're anyway. Yeah, so Meg Ryan's in this. God, yeah, there's not. I don't.
Lloyd
I feel
Bridges, Dan Hedaya,
like everyone.
Carol Kane for 1 second.
1 second.
Why?
Also, she has like my hairdo, except for the giant rat tail in the back.
Oh yes, that weird late
What?
80s thing where it's you just got to throw a rat tail back there. Also, how about Tom Hanks' hairdo at the beginning of this?
Oh my god, yeah.
Before,
I feel
before
like
he gets cleaned up.
also like why would he has like whatever hairdo was happening.
Also, can I say it seems like even though he gets a haircut and it's shorter,
Yeah. He has
he
so
has
much more
more hair.
volume. Yeah. Well,
it
that's
seems like he has more hair on top. Also,
right.
yeah, also it's like kind of wavy suddenly.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean like honestly what it looks like is they just like not slicked his hair but like just made it go down, like blow dried it like straight down
I sang after or before?
before. And then like gave him little extensions for the back so it looked longer, but
Okay.
then when he like they just like gave him a blowout and didn't
We're
I
in
didn't
for
say
a
blow
big blow.
off. What'd you say?
We're in for a big blow.
I don't have anything else except for like the whole scene where he's like when Lloyd Bridges gives him like all those credit cards and he goes on the shopping spree. I'm like, oh god, I have so many like fantasies of that happening. Not the death part, but
It's
like
almost Pretty Woman for a second there.
yeah, like where it's just
I
like
didn't like. I didn't. It's
it's
a
fine,
large
yeah.
segment of the
No, but like when
first
he's like
act, and I don't know why.
when he's like in the like hotel and he has like he's like, oh, I want like lots of money and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's something that I always like fantasize about, like just magically getting money and not having to worry anymore.
I
And
feel
I'm
like
like,
it's a
oh
pretty
god.
common fantasy.
But I feel like combined with the pandemic, I feel like that's like gone up really. I'm like, oh, imagine
But then
being
he's
able
so
to
lonely
go
when
I
he's
know, yeah. But
having
whatever.
a martini.
Oh, also, yeah. Anytime martinis are drunken in a movie, so
Drink.
I think you mean drinked.
Drinked. My favorite new
Anytime-
metal band. Drinked.
Anytime they're anytime they're sippied, martinis that is, in a movie or TV, I'm like, I want a martini so bad. But here's the thing. I know I've said this and it makes no sense. I want a martini that has like little to no alcohol in it. Because I just want to be able to drink it.
You just want chilled olive juice
Basically.
in a fancy glass.
I like some vodka
That's
too.
fine.
I want a little flavor of vodka.
Okay.
But I feel like the vodka waters down the olive juice. But I don't want like watery olive juice.
Can I get one salted vodka over here, please?
I love how they taste.
I understand.
But I don't like how they get me drunk. I don't enjoy it. It's not an enjoyable experience. So I want to
It's a
drink.
lot of alcohol in a tiny drink.
It is, yeah. Especially the way I make them because I do not enjoy vermouth.
And
So
you're also pretty tiny, so
yeah.
it happens quickly.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. Oh, I love them. I'm sure there's like non-alcoholic booze you can get, but like I think there's like non-alcoholic gin, but like bleh, I don't want a gin martini. Bleh, that's boring. Bleh. I want a vodka martinis.
Okay.
Trigger warning for alcohol mention. The orange soda tall boys really were like
That whole shit is dumb
it's
and
stupid, unnecessary. Honestly, I'm like you could have done like you could have like if they're gonna do the thing where like they're all Jewish or whatever.
Well, they're not only Jewish.
Well, I know they're not only Jewish, but they are like played by like I don't know, whatever. Like I'm not saying whatever. I'm like, why not just have like I don't know, like you don't have to have it be so fucking overtly racist.
Yeah, and I think they were trying to avoid that by including
I know. I felt like they were like, this will get us out of.
Jurids.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Get it? Jew plus druids.
Yeah. It sounds like hybrid, but it's like why?
And it lets them get away with having white people play them.
Right, yeah. But I do.
But
Did
then there
people
were
really
also
give a shit about that in 1990? I feel like that really didn't.
Well, I imagine people of color did.
Well, people of color,
But
like
also,
like
they also have people of color also playing Islanders.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not,
yeah,
doesn't work.
Yeah.
Fail.
Well, what I'm saying is like
Fail
the
on
people,
fake.
right? The people who like.
Also, are these the superstitious folks that created the relic?
Oh my god! Right? Oh yeah, it exists in the same universe basically.
No, you know what?
What?
I decided this is a prequel to Backdraft because, or maybe a sequel because Joe Banks used to be a firefighter.
Oh,
Remember?
that's right. Yeah, it's a prequel. He's.
I think it's a sequel though because
Why would it be?
he's no longer a firefighter.
But why would it be a sequel? He quit years before, and it came out like a year before Backdrafted. Stop! That's gonna come through so loud.
It's not that loud. I can hear it. I'm a
flabberty jabbit.
Okay, let's wind it up because
There's
we're.
not much. Yeah, other than the end.
It's
this
fun.
movie's great until the end when it gets hella racist. Just to get technical.
I believe that's what they call it in academia. Film studies.
Hella racist, and then it stops, and then it just falls flat, and then ends.
It stops
nothing,
trying to tell a story, basically.
And it just like ends, and
Fairy tale
nothing
ending.
really happens. So.
I
I think you should watch it up until the shipwreck.
Yeah.
And then just stop it, and that's all you
You'll
need
be
to
fine.
know. Yeah. Nothing else actually happens except for racism.
Yeah.
So you're good to stop.
You may also enjoy Krakatoa East of Java if you like this movie. It's got Brian Keith in it. And Maximilian Schnell.
I don't know who any of those people are. Don't talk to me. Oh, at the end, I wrote down. Because he's telling her something, and she's just like, yeah. She just responds like very rapidly with just yeahs, and she's like, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? I wish Amanda Plummer was in this more. I wish Dan Hedaya was in this more.
I just want a director's cut, Just 3 hours long.
It just has a lot more moon in it.
Oh, I did write banana facials. That's something that happens on the...
Yeah, where they're like...
shoving bananas into his cheeks.
I couldn't tell, like, at some point, like, he's... Like, they keep, like, they're doing, like, a ritual before he's supposed to go jump in the volcano. But they keep just doing more and more ridiculous shit to him, and at some point he's just like, okay, that's enough, and they're like laughing, and I'm like, oh, are they implying that like there's not actually a ritual? They're just like seeing white hole, which I'm like,
yeah,
that makes. But I mean, it's still racist and shit like that. But
which,
I'm
if
like,
you remember, that's what I said at the beginning of the relic. I hope they're just fucking with this guy.
Yeah. God.
Just dosing him for the sake of it.
Oh no. Yeah, sure. This is totally a ritual for us. Just make something up and spit in the white guy's face. I don't know. Hey, this has been a podcast, and thanks for listening. I mean, this is like episode something, and that's
true.
So amazing.
Good job, for listening this far.
Around this long. We've just started. I mean, it's been a couple weeks, but we just started putting the podcast out for people to listen.
For public consumption.
Yeah, and people have actually been listening, and so that's like exciting, but also terrifying. And now I'm just
True.
like constantly aware while I'm talking.
Makes
that,
me
like,
feel good about my music career. I'll tell you that.
I'm just constantly like, someone's gonna hear me say that.
We have more listens on our first episode than any of my albums.
No,
I'm just kidding.
That's
hyperbole. Okay, well, I'll see you later.
Bye.
Tell us about volcanoes, Fred.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.